Why bother taking the mission of trying to explain to all my friends and my family I'm selling my house to buy Bitcoin? That's bonkers. Because every single person that I've ever said that to has said, you are nuts.
As you can see, we're in the UK. English breakfast, mug of tea, and we're meeting with a guy called Steve who has turned his house into an off-grid Bitcoin house. I've always wanted to make some content about the UK and about how Bitcoin is used here, but I think first we need to eat this, no?
This is Steve. 2 years ago, I met Steve in Edinburgh. Today, we're going to jump in his Tesla to find out more.
So I thought Bitcoiners were supposed to be humble and they were supposed to save their money, and you've got an expensive, nice Tesla. Why is that?
That is true, because part of my 8-year plan was to stop paying bills so that my disposable income every month could go into Bitcoin. And I didn't want to fill up my car with petrol all the time. And also I love cars, and I was just wanted to be pimping.
Wow. So this is off-grid living.
Everything about Steve's new family home revolves around Bitcoin mining. That's what makes his off-grid setup so special.
I mean, maybe you could tell everyone what this thing is here.
This is an S19 Bitmain ASIC miner. It means it is used to secure the Bitcoin network via energy. So you put electricity in, you get Bitcoin out, is the simplest way to explain it. And what happens is when you put electricity through them for them to do lots and lots of computations, they get hot. So that the electricity that I'm putting into them, I'm not just getting Bitcoin out of it, I'm also getting the heat out of it and making that useful. So all of the panels that you can see all over the roof are collecting up the sun's rays, going to an inverter, to AC, or putting it directly into batteries. If it goes to AC, then it goes into my caravan's plug sockets. And then I have the ASIC miner plugged into my plug socket, generating Bitcoin and generating heat. Pretty much as simple as that.
Wow.
Secure. Yeah, I was gonna tidy some of this shit up. In the shipping container where I'm running my business from, and also have an ASIC in there, I've got a couple of soil pipes that go out of a commercial fan hole in the back of there, which is used for like commercial kitchens and stuff. So there's a crawl space underneath the caravan, which I've insulated. So what I've done is I've filled up the whole of that crawl space with the heat of an ASIC, which then naturally rises into the caravan and keeps it at an ambient temperature. So in the middle of winter, if it's -2 degrees outside, that will keep the van at about 14, 15 degrees, something like that by itself. If I then turn on the one in the hush box inside the van, it generates more heat than you know what to do with, really. This is a hush box.
Oh, it's hot. It's so hot in here. You can feel it.
You can do the Joe's hair.
So in there is where the Bitcoin is.
What we want to demonstrate is how much noise we're actually able to get rid of.
Whoa, okay, that's loud. The difference is staggering.
Marine grade insulation panels. This has got lead lining in it with polymers, and then we've got a load of electronics in the back here, which allows me to log into it remotely, turn it on and off. So from here, if I turn these two relays off.
Wow. It's pretty impressive.
So the Mark III has a little LCD panel on it, which tells you what the temperature is in the room, and then you can set the temperature up and down on a thermostat. So you can have that sitting in the room and it just turns itself on and off and keeps the room at the temperature you want, or the whole of your house at the temperature you want. Quite often we have it out in the corridor, and that way I can point the tentacles anywhere around the house I want to heat.
And by the way, these tentacles were knitted by Steve's mum.
This time of year, I'm already generating the full 10 kilowatts.
Oh, let's see. Let's verify.
Okay, so we're generating 8.6 at the moment, 3 point whatever's being used by my miner. The rest being used by the server rack and the air conditioning, and then whatever's left over is going into the battery. This is when we've got one miner at 150 terahashes. When I've got two on, I get up to 300. So estimated earnings a day, 0.000233, let's say.
So that's 24,000 sats, which is about 12, 13 pounds?
Yeah.
Is that about right?
This is the mothership. I run my business from here. Well, this is the Bitcoin price since records began, I would say. So I bought my Tesla right at the peak of the 2021 bull run. And then we went through all of this, and I gleefully drove my Tesla around watching everything going down and trying to decide when the point is to sell my house. Obviously, selling your house is not something you can just flick a switch. It takes quite a lot of planning. I had to move my business as well. And then it took about 3 months until I actually sold it on the 1st of September, which is just about there.
Given the UK's heavy Bitcoin regulation, Steve had a hard time simply buying Bitcoin with the money from his house sale.
Been researching this for 8 years already. I know exactly what I'm doing. It's my money. I'd like to just spend it in the way that I would like to invest for the future. Yeah, very, very tedious time that was.
Wow.
Rishi, sort it out, mate. You can walk into a casino, you can take 50 grand on your credit card, you can bosh it on black. No problem. No rules against that in the UK. They'll let you literally gamble on a roulette wheel your entire net worth in one swipe. And that's legal and not even discouraged.
Buying Bitcoin is one thing, but moving into a static caravan for a Bitcoin mining science project? Why go through all that hassle? What compelled Steve to make this leap?
Working a 9 to 5 in the rat race, I knew quite a bit about Bitcoin, and I decided it was about time that when we went to conferences, all the people I met were doing stuff. They were taking action on the knowledge that they then had. I decided I wanted to be involved in that and more heavily. So the best thing I could do to get more Bitcoin was sell everything I own. And obviously the biggest commitment you can make to that is to sell your house. Obviously I still felt a bit nervous about doing that because I've got 2 teenage daughters, and yeah, where are we going to live? Well, we're going to have to figure that out. But if we're going to live, what's the cheapest place we can live and still be comfortable? Everything that I'm doing now is building positively towards a future that I want to live in. And I think that if everybody else spends a little bit of time to learn about why the decisions I made aren't actually crazy, they're just the most sensible thing to do. It's the least risky path forward into the future. I'm basically collecting data. What I'm doing here is actually running ASICs, heating caravans, seeing how much heat I actually get, how much electricity it actually costs me, how much I can actually generate from panels in a real life situation, so that I can crunch the numbers and figure out, is it scalable and what can I actually do?
And so if I was to come back here in the next cycle's time, so in 4 years,
yeah,
will we have those 6 off-grid?
A bunch of off-grid caravans with a whole bunch of Bitcoiners living in them, contributing to a bigger project.
What if Bitcoin does go to 0?
Then I've still got my Tesla.
Okay.
I think that you can spend every day worrying about what might happen, or you can get on with your life. So I figure if the worst comes to the worst and we are all wrong for some reason, I'll just get up tomorrow and carry on with a new plan. And that's basically it, isn't it?
See you in 4 years.
Yeah, brilliant. I look forward to it.
Thanks, Steve.
Always welcome, mate.
Thank you for watching, and cheers to Steve for welcoming us into his off-grid home. Feel free to check out my other stories about Bitcoin adoption around the world at the following links. And also, please check out my 2 show sponsors. Firstly, I'd like to thank Plan B Network, your go-to resource for your burning Bitcoin questions. Plan B Network will answer any questions you may have about mining after watching this video, so navigate to planb.network to find out more. Secondly, thank you to Coin Corner, a British Bitcoin exchange run by great people. They are Bitcoin only and have been on the scene since 2014. Check out coincorner.com. I've been Joe Nakamoto. Do what you love and save in Bitcoin. Thank you.